Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mason Cox Show. Now today, a massive catch up obviously over the weekend, a massive game, incredible scenes, but we've got so much to catch up on. I'll give you a little bit of a rundown. We've got Awkward Moments is back. We've got the Binifer wedding. I know everyone's super excited about that one. We got hot takes, news stories, dating segment. We got footy chat, fan questions, entertainment, current events. We got everything on this show. So as we do every podcast, we start off with the 7. We got Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Man, I'm absolutely smashing that. But without further ado, I will introduce my partner in crime, the man that is Brayden Cocks.
This is going to break records, this catch-up, I reckon.
Dude. I'm psyched. Hey, Binifer, man. It's happening. The Binifer.
I want to get into the footy chat, but who knows where that'll pop up.
Yeah, that might be in the middle. Might be in the middle of this time. I don't know. You'll have to listen in. We'll start Awkward Moments. First thing off the cab. Cab off the rank. First cab off the rank. What is your awkward moment? Now, recently, I've heard that you went to a wedding.
Yeah, so I had a good mate of the podcast, Damon Jackman.
Shout out.
And now Mrs. Jackman, Mrs. Ashley Jackman.
Congratulations.
Big Carlton fans, which kind of...
I saw that. AFL reposted their running through the banner as they came out to I don't know, their ceremony? I don't even know what it was.
The Carlton theme song, banger remix. So... it was good. They held a banner, ran through the banner, and that was on the AFL website, AFL Instagram, Channel 9 News. So it went viral.
Yeah, word on the street. He's last seen crying in the fetal position in his hotel room on a honeymoon.
Well, they did go to the game the next day, which is, it was bold. It's like all the eggs in one basket kind of situation. Collingwood, Carlton to make finals.
Would pay to have a live feed of that guy during the game.
Yeah, no, it was good. Well, you were there. You had a live feed.
I did. I was there. I was running around in circles, kicking ball through some sticks. That was it.
But my awkward moment, it wasn't that awkward. I feel like it's more people feel like it's awkward for you.
Yeah, okay.
Is not having a +1 to a wedding.
I'm a fan of not having a +1.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. But
yeah,
people are like, oh, who are you dating? Are you doing something?
It's like coming back for Christmas dinner and mom and dad and all the family's like, oh, yeah, are you getting married soon? Are you having kids?
Just got to deadpan them and be like, nah, I'm going to die alone.
I'm going to die alone.
And everyone knows I'm a Pisces.
We're both Pisces.
And does get a bit emotional during weddings when it gets up there.
Did it hit you in the heartstrings?
Oh, every time. Every time.
I kind of get that too.
Yeah, I get up there and you start thinking am I ever going to find the one? But dating segment coming up, going to ask for some tips.
Yeah.
I reckon I'm back.
I think we both probably need that.
I reckon I'm back. Let the sun come out, start going to spring, start getting out there. Might shave the mow.
Huge.
Yeah, I gotta.
That is, ladies and gentlemen, that's been a staple of Brayden Cocks for a long time. So that's a big call. So, it's not even Movember's coming up too, so that's
maybe I'll do the opposite. Maybe I'll do the opposite. I'll shave it for
Shave November, not no shave November. It'll be Shave November.
Exactly.
Got it. Love that.
I got to put it out there to see. Maybe I should put it on my
You should do a vote on Twitter. We'll do a poll.
Yeah.
We'll do a poll for it. We'll go into I want to talk about my awkward moment this week. I find this crazy, and I don't know if anyone else feels the same out there of how awkward this is whenever you meet someone for the first time. Like, whether it be male or female, like the introduction part of whether you shake someone's hand, like especially female, like sometimes you kiss on the cheek. I never quite understood that. And then there's some people who do like the double kiss on the cheek if they're kind of like European or something.
Yeah.
And then you got the males. Some people, like, because I'm in sport, people want to dap me up as if like we're mates. And I'm like, I just met you, dude.
That's the one that gets me because
it's always awkward.
I don't know DAP protocols.
Well, I had to teach people. So I taught Nathan Buckley how to do it back in the day when he was coaching us, and we used to like dap each other out before I went out and ran out to a game every single game, and it was our like little thing to do before the game.
I feel like it's hand positioning. If you come, I get in there early to establish hand positioning.
Dominance.
So if you point it directly at them, you can't really dap up like a direct hand. But if you come in like this, they're ready for like the hand cup or whatever.
Yes, and then sometimes you'll bump chests, and then you're kind of like, I'm lost in translation. I don't even know what's going on.
Obviously, the women one gets me because I don't know whether to kiss on the cheek.
Yeah, well, COVID ruined it. I don't know if people are like, COVID protocols, 2 meters. I'm like, I don't know if I'm allowed to even be close to females in that sense. Like,
and one of my best mates now, he's a hugger.
Oh, wow. He would have really struggled during COVID.
Like he'll hug no matter what. So I'll come in for the handshake just to like get in early, and he'll come in with the double
arms out. Love that.
the double arm spread, and he'll be like, "Bring it in."
Just wants love.
Yeah.
Just wants love.
If I hug, which I'm coming around to hugging.
Are you? Yeah.
But
okay.
like, I just give me some warning, some prep. I'll get to the hug. But if I hug, I have to say something stupid beforehand, like, "Bring it in here.
Oh,
Come on, big fella."
I knew it was coming. I knew big fella was coming because people always say that.
I gotta say something stupid. I can't just like give someone like a little casual hug.
Well, it's awkward for me because if I hug someone, most people go like over under or like, the X where you go like bullshit. Well, like I have no option because I'm so much taller than everyone else. I have to like hug around the neck every time and it just is super weird.
So if you hug a guy, they got to do both.
Yeah.
Like the hug around the waist.
Yep, they go female and I've got to go male. I assert my dominance early.
Great.
Early, Brayden. I assert my dominance.
Yeah,
but
that is awkward.
yeah, it was a bit of a weird one. It's always been a thing here. I just have never quite understood how to introduce myself or meet new people in a sense. But we'll move on to the next thing. We're taking too much on that one. But we've got Simple Pleasures is one of the, I think, segments everyone's loving right now. Everyone's sending in photos of their Simple Pleasures. Yeah. It has become a bit of it's going to have to be a staple, I think, on the podcast.
We still get a lot of the petrol pump ones, like where you stop it on an even number.
Every time I do it, I seriously think back to that episode and I'm like, yep, this is seriously, I had so much pleasure out of this.
It is good. So what do you have for us?
Well, we've had Monday and Tuesday off, right? So I've recently gone down the coast and something bad happened, right? Not terribly, but like I forgot my toothbrush.
Yeah, that's
it's like, it's a real just like, oh man, I'll just maybe wait it out for a day, like 24 hours or like 12 hours or whatever.
You can go a day.
Yeah, but then the simple pleasure is getting back home to like your electric toothbrush and your own toothpaste and brushing your teeth whenever it's like absolutely disgusting. Like, your breath stinks.
Yeah.
Like you just got that stuff on like the film on your teeth and you clean it all out and then you just feel back to normal. It's like taking a hot shower, or like taking a shower after not showering for a day or something like that,
Yeah.
You just feel like you're back on.
It is a good reset. Like you just feel fresh again. It's probably the first thing that you do when you get back from camping.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, a business trip away.
Yeah,
it's always
short
like
business trip, and you're like, man, just first sleep back in the bed, unreal, just so good. What's your simple pleasure, brother?
Mine is, and it's coming up soon. When finals hits, one of the first things that I think about is the change back and forth from daylight savings to non-daylight savings. I don't know which way.
So you get the extra hour of like sunlight.
You get the extra hour. The nights are longer. It starts warming up. It's just everything starts to become a bit easier. You've gone through the deep, dark depression, which is winter. Every winter I put on like 5 kilos.
Huge. 5 kilos? Yeah. That's a lot.
And then
it's a party piece.
I start too late to come out of that. And
so then, you haven't done the summer. You've done the summer ball too late.
Yeah. So then by the end of summer, I'm like, all right, I'm ready to rock. And then it's too late.
Back to winter, and you're back in your hole.
And it's
just
a cycle.
Hermit.
And if I miss one cycle, like if I put on 5 kilos, then don't lose it, and then put on another 5 kilos, GG. Like game over. I'm done. But getting too far away from my simple pleasure. It's just the change of daylight savings because it coincides with everything warming up, becoming easier, going out, having drinks. More dates.
Yeah, there it is.
Getting out there. The first jog of the spring. Yes. When you get a 20-degree day, that first 20-degree day feels like 30 degrees.
Oh, you're like sleeveless shirt, like shorts. You're just
down
like
to the cafe in your shorts and thongs combo.
100%.
It is good. That's my simple pleasure, and it's coming up soon. And I can't wait.
I feel like Melbourne, like the vibe of Melbourne turns as soon as daylight savings light comes. It's like, oh man, we're on. Like we've got the racing coming up. We've got the grand final coming up. Like event season's coming up. Man, this place is about to just turn on its head from this just depressing winter like vibe.
I feel like we peak in spring. Like spring, 100%. Like we're good in summer, but like Melbourne peaks in spring. All the events are on. Everyone just comes out of their little hibernation, and
everyone's just got this energy. Everyone's been waiting. Everyone's waiting, man. Everyone's like, you lock us up for 2 years. It's just gonna happen whenever we come out of this.
And you know what I've been waiting for all week?
What's that?
Your entertainment news.
Mate, we're on. Hey, man, I seriously could not be more psyched about this.
We got big feedback with Keat last week.
Keat was wild, man. I'm still heartbroken about that. I'm seriously heartbroken.
Are they still off? They haven't...
No, they haven't rekindled. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit. Maybe they hook it up on the side. I don't know. Maybe you heard that here first. I'm not really sure. Can't confirm or deny. But yeah, that was Keat. It was heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking. But with every breakup, there is love that does get rekindled.
Oh, so we're going the other way.
And we've rekindled love with Benifer. You know Benifer, obviously.
Yep, that's those
Ben Affleck and
Jennifer Lopez.
There it is. Yes, yes. Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez. And like, shout out to J-Lo, because like that woman does not age. She is just one hot mama.
Yeah.
And they got married. Official. They were like dating like 30 years ago and then like had different marriages. J-Lo actually married a guy named Chris Judd. Found that randomly out. Yeah, Chris Judd. Different Chris Judd, but Chris Judd did marry a Chris Judd.
Jeez, I was gonna say he's doing all right.
Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, he's going right. Yeah. And then so they rekindled their love. They had a wedding at a random chapel in Vegas. Like they did the whole Vegas kind of wedding. You know,
every
like
time I hear that, I think bad. But is that good? Can you do a good Vegas wedding?
As a celebrity, if you just want to knock it out, like they just went bang, got the certificate, got married. See you later. We're going to do like a proper thing later on.
Oh, so it was a low key.
So it was a low key. Like I think there's very minimal people there. And then they did a month later, they had their big wedding, right?
Yeah, right.
And now there's a bit of drama at this wedding now, Brayden.
No.
I know. Oh, no. Bit of juicy goss. Now, Casey Affleck,
Ben's brother,
no show.
Didn't go.
No show at the wedding ceremony. I know. How hurt would you be if your brother didn't show up to your own wedding ceremony?
My first thoughts. If you've been married before, do you have to go to the next one?
Yes, of course. You have to go to everyone. It's a great, we're celebrating love. We love love here. We're celebrating Bennifer getting married.
Surely
it's officially happened.
Surely he had something important on there.
He blamed it on his kids. It was just almost rude. Like you just go, I got some parental stuff. And like, who knows what actually happened? But it was one of those things where it almost kind of seemed like a bit of a bailout. And I was like, maybe there's a bit of family drama we don't know about. I don't know. But TMZ, get on it.
Yeah, right.
Get on it. Figure it out, because we're all just on edge. We're on the edge of our seats trying to figure this Bennifer out. And there's also something else that happened that. They married in Savannah and, at Ben's estate, because people have estates over there. Yeah, ridiculous. But one of the weird things, and then Ben's mom went to the hospital the day before. Man, it was crazy.
So
this whole thing's crazy. A lot going on.
It's all on Ben's side. What's J-Lo's side?
J-Lo's J-Lo's just the most perfect woman in the world. Love you. Anyway, but one of the weird things was they had everyone wear white to the wedding. Now, that is very, very like... only the bride wears white on the wedding day, but they made everyone else.
They
reversed it.
I feel like, off the top of my head, could be wrong, Pendle's wedding in Bali, all white.
Yeah, I wasn't there. Didn't get invited. Couldn't tell you. Sorry, dude. Maybe next time. Maybe whenever they have their rekindling of their affirmation, 30-year affirmation, whenever they redo it.
Yeah, lucky we just passed the awkward moment.
Yeah, well, that might be next week's. It's actually this moment right now. All right, well, we'll move on to the next thing. We've got the hot take. Now, I used to say hot take all the time on this pod. I've had some people give me some feedback that they want to bring the hot take quote back. Yeah. And I think we're going to do a segment here. It's a hot take / annoying things. We'll go with that. And I'll let you start off on this one. Because I'm quite embarrassed on my hot take.
Yeah, I can see it written down here.
I know, it's probably on all caps. But I'll let you go first, mate. What do you got for us?
My hot take, and there's levels to this, but when you're walking through the supermarket and you see that someone's decided they don't want an item, so they just put it back on the shelf wherever they are.
Yeah.
And go like, the little peasant like Coles guy will come around and put that back. Yeah. It's like, go put it back where you picked it up. You learn that as a kid.
Yeah.
But I feel like this goes to a new level when it's a meat-based product.
Meat? So, into a non-refrigerated area?
Yeah.
Whoa,
so
whoa. This is going to get thrown out.
Yeah. So
what human being would do that?
Because sometimes I see it, and because it annoys me so much, I pick it up and take it back and put it in the right spot. But
question marks,
a meat item, you can't do that.
Yeah, meat you can't do. Yeah,
because you don't know how long it's been sitting there.
It's very true.
But I saw it the other day. I took a photo of it. Someone picked up some chicken tenders.
Yeah.
And walked like 10 meters away.
Did you see the person?
No, they were already sitting there. And walked 10 meters away from where the chicken tenders go. Yeah. And just put it in the bread aisle. And I was like, I just saw it sitting there. I was like, you only had to turn around and just put it just back there. But then I was like, I was going to put it back. And then I was like, wait, I don't know how long they've been sitting here. I could kill someone.
Yeah, salmonella could happen.
It could happen.
It's like people I remember back when I was a kid, it was one of those things, I guess, that you kind of have these like role models that will say these things. And it's like, you don't leave trash around because, as kids, you kind of, maybe someone like would say, oh, what's a janitor's job? Like that's why he's here, blah, blah, blah. And, you just kind of learn that's like a real shit thing to say. Like, and you learn that at a very young age, but I feel like that's very similar to like leaving trash out for someone else to clean up, is like leaving stuff there. And I will say this though, whenever I do go around in the supermarket, sometimes if I see something, you know, I'll be like walking by, right? And I'm assuming someone short walked by and they put something back in the middle of the shelf and they couldn't reach the top of the shelf. I'll kind of look at it and go, I'll just put that back. I'll just put it back at the top and I say, you know what? I've done my good deed for the day.
That's nice.
You know, karma's coming back for me in a positive way. So that's something I will do if I see it. But to leave chicken tenders out in the bread section is just a dreadful thing.
Dirty.
Just disgusting. And we do not like that on this pod. But I'll go into my hot take, man. And we posted this on the socials this week.
You can't.
This is huge news. I'm actually so freaking embarrassed by this. So someone was listening to our podcast, Daniel Patrick, who's got a clothing company in the US, and he had sent some stuff to the boys of the club, and he had sent me this item of clothing. Now, I've talked about this item of clothing on the podcast before, and I said, they're ridiculous. There's no point to them. They look stupid. I would never wear one.
Wait, so big international designer Daniel Patrick sent you an item of clothing?
Yeah, it's really nice of him. He's a good dude. And he actually, after the Eddie podcast, which if you haven't heard the Eddie podcast, you need to get on it.
Get
that was unreal. That was the last one we put out. Go through the catalog, check it out. It's a great chat. He went and hung out in Eddie's box for the game that weekend. I think I can't remember who we were playing, but so he was in town doing like his little rounds and stuff. He's from Australia and he's over in LA now. But
yeah, he did an Adidas collaboration with James Harden.
Oh, I should know this.
Yeah, he's done some pretty big design things.
Oh, well,
so he wanted to hit up Mason and collab with the big fella.
Yeah, he sent us a club and he sent me this item of clothing, and now. I will say this item of clothing is named a puffer vest. And I've said in previous episodes that vests are the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. There's no point to them. Why would you have a cutoff shirt? That's essentially a jacket with cutoff sleeves. And I mean this in a nice way. And he kind of sent me this as a bit of a joke. And I was literally walking. I got this. I hadn't even tried it on. I was almost kind of like, oh, this prick. No, he's almost like digging in the knife, just making fun of me, you know. It was all good fun, but I was like, I'm just gonna go, you know, to the local, like give this to someone, you know. And I was walking, and I was like, gonna put it in the back of my car, and I did what we all do, I guess, is I had a jacket on, I put it on, and I get in the elevator and I look at myself and I go, shit, it actually looks all right.
Oh god.
And I think to myself, do I go through with this? I don't know how to handle this. So I sent you a photo and I said, it's happening. I think I'm becoming a vest guy. And I didn't know how to handle it. And I was going to give it away, and it's now become part of my review is Daniel Patrick's got some great gear. No, I think a vest, if you wear a jacket, a hoodie underneath.
So a hoodie and a puffer vest over the top.
Yeah. It actually looks okay.
I've got a couple of different backgrounds to this story. So one, you're like, ragging on puffer vests, but you wear 3/4 tracksuit pants.
Well, it's because tracksuit pants don't fit me. I got to make them myself.
So they're regular size tracksuit.
They're regular size tracksuit pants. I just roll them up.
They come up to your knees.
It's the thing. It's the thing now, Brayden.
You had 3/4 tracky pants on and a puffer vest. It was a great look
with bright blue shoes. Asics.
Yeah. And then, so it was funny. I actually had another podcast with a client, and Daniel Patrick was the guest. And he was like, in town, like, do you know this, like, Mason Cox guy?
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
And my client was like, yeah, Brayden actually does a podcast with him. It's like, been trying to hit up this guy for ages. No. Send him some DMs, just ghost me. I was like, yeah, actually, when I said I know him, I know of him. Like, I've never met him. Podcast with him? That's...
I'm going to have to apologize then. There's a lot of things I lose in the DMs. And if Daniel Patrick, if you message me, I just want to say officially an apology to you, mate. But I actually did text you after. I actually messaged him on socials after I got the vest and said thank you. So thanks, mate. I appreciate it. But if I missed your messages before, I just want to apologize. I'm not very good with messaging people back on socials.
No, I covered you. Oh,
did you? I love that. You went to bat for the big fella.
I was like, there's so many girls in those DMs. He would be digging for days to get to.
I wish. I wish. Everyone says that too. But anyway, we'll move on to the next thing. And this is a absolute favorite and an absolute staple of the catch up. And it's Brayden's favorite segment. I think I can say that without having to even ask you. It is the weird news stories of the week.
Did a bit of prep this week.
Love that.
Been lagging on other weeks. So
Didn't want to say it, but yep.
as we all know, the USA Mullet Championships have come and gone.
Of course. Wouldn't miss it for the world.
And the
live streamed it.
juniors winner, Emmett Bailey from Menominee, Wisconsin.
Beautiful place.
Obviously took out the top prize, as we all know. But so I've collated some of the best junior mullets.
Yeah.
And I just want you to go through
I've got the link here.
as the very proud American that you are, and give us some of your ratings and rankings and reviews.
Well, first of all, shout out for me wearing a mullet previously. I didn't get to enter into this competition apparently, but if you do want to see myself in a mullet and a cowboy hat and sunglasses, and I think Cletus was the name we went with.
Yeah.
I'm not really 100% too sure. We might need to retrospectively look at that. But if you want that, that's on the socials too. So if you want to see me in a mullet and compare it to these kids, we can maybe do a little carousel thing and be able to say, like, you know, who wore it best kind of thing.
There is an adult division. So
is there? Well, we might have to do that, but we'll go into this one, the kids one, because I think kids, this is becoming a thing. Kids and mullets, I'm telling you, it's next level. But I'm looking at the first guy, Landry. Now he's from Duncan, Oklahoma. Now I've been to Duncan, Oklahoma. You wouldn't believe it, but I've been to Duncan.
Plenty going on in Duncan, Oklahoma.
There is nothing going on in Duncan, Oklahoma. If anyone's listening from Duncan, I apologize, but anyway, I have to apologize. But the next one is epic.
Wait, no. You got to go. You got to describe it
so
and review it.
This kid's got literally an American flag shaved into the side of his head, and that's huge bonus points, right?
Whoever
huge
did
bonus
that
points.
is very talented. There's a lot of, you can see the stars in the.
Oh, he's got
in the
probably
flag.
10 stars. He's got a few stars to get put in there. That's gonna be tough to put 50 stars on the side of your head, but that's bonus points. That's bonus points, and he's got locks past his neck.
Yeah.
So it's past the shoulders, which is I feel like for a mullet competition, that's bare minimum.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have a mullet, it's got to be past the shoulders.
Well, I like that. What are you giving it out of 10?
Landry, I'll give him a 6.
Oh, a 6.
A 6. You don't want to start too high, because then if you go to other people, it's like, I don't know. We'll move on to the next guy, Epic from La Jolla, Texas. I think I might have driven through it there at some point.
His name is Epic.
Yeah, because his haircut's freaking epic. I'll tell you that, dude. Look at this, man. This guy's literally, oh my gosh. Look at the mullets dragging out. He's wearing pit vipers. Big fan of pit vipers. I might put a little photo of me up. I've got a pair myself.
So describe it for our listeners on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, so he's got the speed dealers. Yeah. He's almost got the Mason Cox goggles.
Yeah.
He's got, obviously, the sides are shaved. He needs a little bit of trimming up. He doesn't really have it too clean cut, which, I mean, I think in mullet that maybe it's part of the look.
It's like rough on top, but then like surfer vibe, like
yeah. Well, I think the surfer vibe probably comes from his shirt that has multiple flowers and bright colors. He kind of looks like the Scooby-Doo van. It's like the side of the Scooby-Doo van.
Yeah.
If you put that into a print and put it on a shirt, this is what Epic looks like.
I was thinking.
And then he's got the massive pit vipers. You know what pit vipers are? They are the sunglasses that take up 3/4 of your face.
They wrap around.
And they are the most bogan things you could possibly imagine. We'll rate that one. I'll rate him higher. I like the Shag and Wagon shirt is going to give him a 7. So he's better than the first one.
So he's up.
Sorry, Duncan, Oklahoma. You are already behind. The third one, Emmett from Carthage, North Carolina. Emmett, you are wearing pit vipers also. Huge fan of that. Now he's got
there's a bit of a theme going on.
To describe this kid, he's got the bowl cut straight line hairline, and he's pushed it down. Like mom's done a bowl cut on the front.
It's like Lloyd Christmas from Dumb and Dumber.
Yes, that's a great get there. Blonde hair, sides aren't shaved. Not a fan of that. Come on, pick it up, Emmett. But the hair goes long enough. Tick that box.
It's like narrow.
Now, the best thing I like about this kid, though.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, the Scooby-Doo outfit was great, but the American flag T-shirt, I mean, and the collared T-shirt, like this is John Daly-esque.
Yeah.
John Daly would wear this. Now, I think that pumps him up. That gives him brownie points. Now, do I think he's better in Duncan, Oklahoma for Landry? But I can say he's on par. I'll give him a 7. Epic and Emmett together. Pit Viper bros.
This next one.
Okay, so the next one we've got
Rowan
kind of looks like the girl from Stranger Things a little bit. That's very interesting. It doesn't have pit vipers on. That's automatically, you go maybe one down.
He's gone with the aviators.
He's gone aviator. He's gone Top Gun. Look, respect. I'm not going to respect kid from Wesley, Arkansas.
It's very Joe Dirt.
He's very Joe Dirt. That's a great way. Like you can tell because the front's Joe Dirt kind of like pushed up, kind of like just messy.
And when you talk about length,
he's definitely got the length compared to everyone else. That's longer than most female haircuts I've ever seen.
And the fact that he's just standing out in a field.
I actually think there might be a gun in the background in the second picture. I'm not 100% sure there. That is Arkansas, so it might be legal. And then he's got the American t-shirt. So, look, for pure length throwing, I'm going to give you an 8. I reckon I'm going to put him above the other ones. Representing the aviators, Top Gun style. Love that. Rowan from Wesley, Arkansas is now leading the front of the mullet contest.
Get him, Rowan.
Whoa! Hold up. Coming to the next guy, William from Pataskala, Ohio. Pataskala. Shout out to Pataskala.
How many listeners
you think Parramatta's good? You should go to Pataskala, Ohio, the William Dale Ramsey.
Yeah, he's got the 3-part names.
Pit Vipers.
Future NASCAR driver.
I would
with
not
that
put my full name in this competition, but William Dale Ramsey has. His mom and dad, questionable ethics, but we're going to roll with it.
He's actually got the American flag again.
He's got he's not as clean-cut American flag in the side, I will say that. He's got the Pit Vipers. He's got
American shirt.
American shirt. He's ticked that box. The length, though, is a bit short.
It is short.
Length is a bit short, but he does remind me of Chris Farley a little bit.
It does.
I think I'll give him a 7. I still think the last fella, Rowan, length,
there's 2 photos.
Girth of this thing is unreal.
There's 2 photos. In the back of one, he's got like a rim from a car.
That's brownie points.
And then in the back of the other, it's like
it's an American flag.
It's the American flag.
These kids. Who's at the top? Rowan's at the top of the night. Emmett's really still got me. We'll go Rowan's at the top of the 8 until the last one. So what's the last one we got here? We got Emmett again. We got 2 Emmets.
From Menomonee.
And wowee. Oh, man. He's wearing a Chad Johnston shirt, first of all. So that's a huge get there. He's from Menomonee, Wisconsin. The mini-moiney of America. I don't even know. Menomonee. Give me more of my moiney.
He's a ginger kid.
Can you say that? I don't know. We might have to cut that out. He is ginger.
He's a gingerbread kid.
He reps the ginger hard. He's got Pit Vipers on. That's a tick. He's got the length is probably just on the cutoff, but shoot, man, I think this kid might take it out. I think he might go an 8.5 on this kid.
He's got a spiky mohawk.
That's what gets me across the line. That's the 0.5, Brayden. That is the 0.5 that just gives him the championship at the mulletcop.com. Check it out. They're probably live streaming next year's competition. Whoo!
I think you'll be glad to find out that Emmett, that you gave the W to, actually took.
Did he actually win?
He's the one that took it out.
Huge. Look at that. He's going to have a tough life as a ginger, but we'll give him the mullet comp freaking championship. Where's it going to know where this mullet comp is? I can guarantee you it's either Wisconsin or Oklahoma.
Well, I thought
Arkansas might be it too. I'm not really sure.
I thought the kids one was okay. Like, there is an adult division, and I just thought that was a bit sad.
No, it's not. It's great content. I just love that some of these, the background of these people, we've got a rim.
Yeah, I like
We've got an American flag. We've got a questionable maybe shotgun. We've got just someone's taken out of the back of a forest, and then someone's at a beach. But the shag and wagon shirt that was probably one of the highlights. Well, Emmett from Menomonee, Wisconsin, congratulations, you've won the Roland Media and Mason Cox Show Championship for the best child with a haircut. And for legal reasons, we might have to cut out some of the things we said about these children on this podcast. But
the annual.
Yeah, the annual. We'll come back in a year's time. Emmett, I want to see it again.
All right, let's keep moving on. We've got another one, and I saw this actually on Kyle and Jackie O. Just straight up stole it. But
yeah, okay.
Don't let Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation crash your old laptop.
Okay. Is that a song of hers, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not the biggest Janet Jackson fan.
I think we all know Janet Jackson for the wrong reason of the Super Bowl debacle.
Yeah, I'd say that. Playing Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation on some older laptops causes them to crash. And here's why.
What?
Rhythm Nation contains one of the natural resonant frequencies on laptops that match up with old 5400 RPM hard drives.
Oh, the 5400. Yeah.
So that for everyone listening, if you don't know, that's just like your standard old school.
No one knows
hard
what
drive.
that is, dude. Like
it's your normal old school hard drive, but the resonant frequency. I read this. It's the same as like why soldiers march off beat while going over a bridge, because if they march at the same resonant frequency, it can bring the whole bridge down.
Really?
So, and it's a similar thing here, and it's actually a known bug and common cause and vulnerability in laptops that they actually mark it down as resonant frequency attack.
Really? Do you reckon that Apple's just like made this song with her to say like, hey, we want him to buy the new Apple like Mac? Because I feel like every year my Apple phone or whatever it is, all of a sudden the battery just dies whenever there's a new iPhone that comes out.
Don't update. Never
interesting how that happens, Apple.
Never update. This one, car thief in the UK jailed after being caught hiding inside a giant teddy bear.
Okay, yep. So, sure it's not Florida Man?
So a man from the United Kingdom who was wanted for car theft was sent to jail on Friday after police found him hiding in a giant teddy bear.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good hideout. I'm not gonna lie. Good
the picture's pretty good. He cut up the bottom of the teddy bear and he's hiding inside.
It'd be a big teddy bear.
And the police attended his property and noticed that the bear was breathing.
Okay, that's telltale sign.
And found the 18-year-old stuffed inside a 5-foot teddy bear. The Greater Manchester Police said that they could barely believe what they had stumbled across, but now the man is stuffed in jail.
That is a Herald Sun headline if I've ever seen one, Brayden. Stuffed behind bars. Classic. Well, we'll move on to the next. I know a lot of people... We actually found out, Brayden knows all the statistics of the podcast, and there's been quite a demographic of females that listen to this podcast. Now, it's going up.
It's on the way up.
I don't know what the percentage would be, but
30%.
30% female, which for me, I feel like in yourself, you and I, that's a lot more than we probably imagined at the beginning.
Yeah, getting close to a third of our audience.
I thought, we had a bit of a spike whenever we talked about your dating life.
It's not true.
No, it's true. We're gonna. This is my intro. This is my switch over to your dating life, because we have 30% females, and the females want to know, Brayden, how is the dating life going?
Terrible.
Good start.
But this is why I need help, and now that we have a higher demographic of women, they can give me tips.
That's it.
From the other side.
And they can ask their girlfriends and stuff, and they're going to walk and be like, hey, I know a guy, Brayden.
I take referrals.
You take referrals. Okay, yes. Ladies,
but I actually woke up to a text message from my good mates this morning that often check in on how my dating life is going.
Okay.
And he gave me the tip that it said, dating's a numbers game. You got to up those numbers. More dates.
I'm probably more of a quality over quantity guy.
But how do you know quality before you go in there?
Like friends give you like a good recommendation. Like that's usually I feel like how people meet.
I have friends trying to hook me up, and I can't.
You need to get better friends, Brayden. That's probably what you're trying to say.
But they'll be like, "Hey, this girl's perfect for you," and then you look at her and you're like, "Oh, jeez,
she's beautiful." Like, it's what's on the inside that counts. Is exactly what you say, Brayden.
Really high opinion of me. Thanks. But yeah, so I figure I kind of want to get a vibe of like ethically. When it's a numbers game, like how many people can you be dating at once? Like
I'm not really the one to be asking this question.
No, but that's why I'm putting it out there.
Yeah, okay. We're asking the public.
Yeah.
In today's world of I feel like today's world where you have your dating apps and everything else, it's probably almost encouraged to date multiple people in a sense, because you have so many people you're swiping through, whatever it is, like that. Going on multiple dates and dating multiple people is not frowned upon as much as it probably was 10, 15 years ago.
So I feel like a little bit of guilt, and I don't know if that's just me, but and then when I just pick one, I just go with that and then see how far that goes. It normally falls over, and then we're back to
square one. Back to Hinge.
Yeah. Well, back to the PlayStation for a couple of months, and then back to dating. But
cry it out.
Yeah. So, I just want to know like the ethics around that, and then so say you date multiple.
Yeah.
Say you have a killer week.
Yeah, let's ask the question
Let's
of
do
how many is too many?
Yeah, you go hypothetical. So say
We have to have something that the people can just respond to.
So if you're dating on numbers, let's say you have an absolute blinder. You go on 7 dates in 7 days. Hypothetical. Don't even at me.
What?
I'm not doing that, but hypothetical. And then from that,
the free time.
From that, you shortlist to, let's say 3.
Okay.
So 3, you go on a second date with.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yep. Yeah.
How many dates can you go on with those 3 before you got to whittle it down to 1? You give the rose to, like.
You give the rose to.
Well,
actually, I'd love to see on The Bachelor.
So you can't, like, if you pick 3 and you're like, oh, they're all great, and then you go through, like, surely you can't be going more than 3 dates. I feel like you got to pick.
That's a good question.
After 3 dates, right?
Yeah, 3 or 4. I think you'd know. Like, if you really like someone, then you would know. Like, you would just not want to talk to other females.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
am I wrong in saying that? Oh, it's us.
How do you know
comment on a post, ladies. Let us know.
How do you know if you like someone after 1 or 2 dates?
I think you just
like
vibe
know
with people.
someone.
You vibe with people you don't.
So after that, it's like the risk that you're taking. So you go like, so say you like all 3 of them after 3 dates, but you go like, I can't go a 4th date with all 3. I got to pick. So you just go like, I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go with like.
I would hope you have like, not necessarily a ranking, but like you would like one more than another over another.
Well, yeah, you got a
go
short
with the
list.
top one. Yeah.
It's like a delistings.
It's a delistings at the end of the 3-date rule.
Go through and do your delistings.
I don't have enough time to even think about that. So I cannot comment on that, Brayden, but I think what we will encourage is all the females listening to please comment and help you out.
And the fellas.
Yeah, the fellas too. I think there'd be some very interesting dating stories between our listeners and our followers on social media.
Well, I want it like the juxtaposition. I want like, I take the guys, what they think is like the right thing, and then what the girls say is actually the right thing, and put them together. Get all the data.
Let's do this, because I'll bring this up, is we'll put it on TikTok. And let's do this.
God.
We'll put it on, because TikTok, I've learned TikTok is the Wild West. People say anything and everything on that thing.
I guess you get to the truth quicker.
Insane. But I'll say this to TikTok. How many dates do you need to go on with a female before you need to call it official and whittle it down to 1? Because I feel like people date multiple people. So how many dates do you need to go on before you make it officially just one person you're seeing? TikTok, let us know.
Okay, I like that.
Bang. You're going to get some kids just riffing on you, man.
Yeah. It's
You're
going to be
really going to have to be cautious on the comments. I'm going to check in to make sure you're mentally healthy, okay, next week.
Because my thing is that I'm trying to figure out at the moment is like, do I be myself or just a better version of myself? Do I let them see all of me? Or do you roll it out over 3 dates? Because sometimes I go in, I'm 30. Once you hit 30, you care less what people think about you.
Yeah, you're comfortable in your own skin.
So I just roll in. I'm fully me. Like I'm fully me. Like what you see is what you're gonna get if we make it to date 20. So yeah, I don't know if I should pull that back because I haven't had many second date experiences. Lately, there's been a lot of firsts.
A lot of firsts.
Not a lot of seconds.
So you're saying your 7 in 7 days does not get whittled to 3.
No.
It gets whittled to 0.
I can whittle it to 3.
Yeah, okay.
They're not.
They don't match you. They're not on the same page.
So yeah, I'm trying to figure, do I be the full picture or do I just bring my strengths? That's
I reckon you be yourself, mate. Be yourself. If they don't like you for who you are, then you know what? They're just not meant to be.
No, but be myself, sure. But be all of myself?
Yep.
Be every aspect of myself.
All of you.
Or just all the good parts. Leave all the bad parts.
Start with the good parts, and then you work the bad parts in later.
See, I figure that.
You'd start off, you've gone 0 baggage. You've just gone check-in. And then the next trip, you kind of bring one, you bring a carry-on, you bring another bag, you bring another bag. Next thing you know, you got 10 bags and you're really going international and it's costing more for luggage than the actual flight itself.
Yeah, so check in baggage slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my advice to you.
I like that. That's a really good metaphor.
There you go.
So first date's just a bit of carry-on.
It's first date's overnight in Sydney. You're not even bringing clothes. You're just going there and back.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah. Next day, overnight, you're having, sleepover bag. Next day, you've got the suitcase, maybe a duffel bag, and then you get to the roller case, and then it just goes back.
And then you're there. It's not a holiday anymore.
Well, then she's on the 3rd date, and she's already committed, and she's got to whittle it down to just you. So that's kind of how it works.
That's the conundrum, because they've whittled me down to one of their 3.
you're just not on the top of the list.
Oh, God.
All right. Well, we're going to get a lot of feedback from that from the females and the males. I would love to hear your opinions on it and maybe some of your horror stories of kind of some of the dating that Australia has.
As much as I love the dating chat, I absolutely love the footy chat.
I love the segue.
So
Big fucking...
Big what? Big what? Let's jump on into the footy chat.
I just dropped the F-bomb. All right. Yeah. Anyway, he loves the dating. Yeah, keep going.
So I don't know if you know this, but you had a win on the weekend. You
yes,
beat your arch rival Carlton. So have you?
Ever since I was a young boy, I hated Carlton.
Have you grown to hate Carlton yet, or is it?
They're all. It's all the same. Collingwood and Carlton people are probably gonna hate me for saying that, but yeah, I don't know. I kind of look at players as like people are in the same profession as me, you know. We're kind of all mates, you know. But there was a bit of trash talk on the weekend, I will say.
Well, there you go. Well, so you're making a habit of this, but close game, you finished on the bench. You get to watch along. Best seat in the house.
Yeah.
Take us through the last minutes of the game and what you were thinking. You're on the bench with Pendles, the fearless leader.
Yeah.
Because he had a split open dome. He was gushing blood.
Both of us were bleeding there. Like, I had a bloody nose at halftime, just gushing out. And then he gets at the very end of the game. And it's kind of weird because it sucks. It's like, you obviously want to be in that moment. And like, he's on the field and he's got it. I heard, like, he like literally looked at the ref and was like, I'm bleeding out of the back of my head. Like, my head just split open.
He's smart, though. He does it at a good time to be like, stoppage, take your time, set up. Yeah,
very end of the game. On the bench. I wasn't even sitting on the bench. I was so hyped. I was standing at that point. And you go, Brayden Maynard intercept, Brayden Maynard to Pendles to Guinea. Guinea box out to Jamie. Jamie running goal. Actually burns Guinea.
Yeah, I think
burns them hard.
He burned a couple.
He burned a couple because it was 3v1.
I think it was like Checkers at the top of the square.
Checkers top of the square had a person rolling with him. Guinea, no one. And then Billy, corner.
Yeah.
And Billy, as we know, Jamie Elliott, so I keep calling him Billy, but Jamie Elliott loves the corner. He'll just slot a goal.
Just ice cold.
Ice cold, ice in the veins. And burns Guinea, burns Checkers, and just slots it. And I cannot fathom what would have happened if he didn't make that shot.
Yeah, it's,
whoa.
You got
Talk about the confidence on the man. Love it.
Went with the drop punt too.
Drop punt. Oh, man. It was
shaped around the post.
Just give me all your love. And then Guinea, he like jumps on Guinea and Guinea just gets bowled over like in the celebration. And I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was pissing myself. I was like, this whole last quarter just turned into absolute chaos. And then we go into a bit of like the save the game and everything else. And ended up winning and win by 1 point, knock Carlton out of the finals when we get top 4.
So why you bring up Guinea? We've brought him up a couple of times on the pod. Big Guinea fans on the pod.
Big Guinea fan, yep.
And a lot of people have talked about him all season. He's been like the poster boy for news all year. He gets booed in Sydney 2 weeks ago for being injured on the bench. Head high contact. Don't even know how he's got a head still on his shoulders at this point.
Yep.
But one thing that people aren't really focusing on, he kicked 36 goals in the regular season. That puts him, he's like 1 goal behind Checkers for leading the club's goal kicking.
Yep.
He's got more goals than other small forwards like Cody Waitman, Sonny Walters, Isaac Rankin, Tom Papley.
Paps, really?
He's kicked about 15 more goals than McStay, the bloke that you're trying to get in next year. He's kicked 3 goals 5 times or more. He's kicked 5 goals in a little game.
Anzac Day.
Anzac Day against Essendon.
That was awesome. I loved him.
Won the Anzac medal.
That was so cool.
Shushing the crowd. Yeah. He's brought so much energy to the game this year. But people need to focus on his footy because he's
a damn good
it.
football player. Yeah.
He just kicks goals.
He's just a guy you just have total trust in. And like, man, he's a 19-year-old kid that's had the weight on his shoulders all year. Like, credit to him. I don't think anyone would be able to handle it as well as he has.
What I still need to wrap my head around is what happened to Carlton. So let me walk through it so I can wrap my head around it. All right? I need to be able to fathom this. So Carlton were in the top 8 for
year. For
the 22 rounds prior to the final round, right?
Everything but probably 4 minutes, Brayden.
They were up by 4 goals at the 3/4 time.
They made a massive comeback in the third quarter, and credit to them. Like, they had a really good run in the third. But if anyone's watched a bit of footy of Collingwood Football Club, we love a fourth quarter.
So they were up by 4 goals, heading into the last. and they've lost by 1 point after kicking 0 goals, 6 behinds in the fourth quarter.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Yep.
So they missed the 8 by 0.6%.
Whew, that's rough.
And on top of that, they put their bitter rival, the Collingwood Football Club, into the top 4 as a result. I don't think it could get any worse than that.
Yeah, it's
like, and I know stuff comes back to bite you if you like gloat or say anything. So that's not a gloating thing. It's not. I'm just pointing it out.
I'm not saying anything. This is you.
But I don't think there could be a worse loss. You miss finals to your arch rival. You give them a hand in finals. You miss by 0.6 after losing by a solitary point, after leading at 3/4 time and then kicking 0 goals, 6 in the last.
Like putting my feet in someone else's shoes, like it is rough.
It's rough.
Like, rough.
It's rough.
And like, I'm obviously happy we're in top 4 and we beat them and everything else, but like you have friends on different teams and you kind of have to sympathize with them after after the whole thing happens, you're kind of like, shit, man, that would suck.
Oh,
like, and they had an amazing year. Like, I don't think anybody really expected them. They had a new coach and everything else. Like, no one really expected them to be probably as good as they were throughout the year and beating some of the bigger teams and everything else. And it's a credit to Voss and everything else, and he's turned that program around. I think like 3 or 4 years ago, like that Carlton was just like an absolute dumpster fire. Like no one knew what was going to go on there. Like there was just new people in and out, and it was kind of like us like 3 years ago. And they got Voss in, and he's kind of put a new culture in, and they're killing it now. And I think they're going to be definitely a team to be looking out for in the next few years. So it's a credit to them. But yeah, looking from the other side of like missing out by 0.6%, like you're going, crap, man, if we would have had 1 more goal, 2 more goals in the season, who knows? It's
expectations that get you. Because going in, people's expectations are one thing, but when you get to 8-2, expectations change.
Huge.
You're talking top 4. And and the fall from grace from there, I think they lost 7 of their last 10 and miss out by
they had a rough run home.
0.6%. So it is rough. I was thinking a lot of people on my Twitter or whatever they're not sympathetic. Pendles actually got asked if he feels for them, which he said no, not at all. So
really
savage from the skip, but I love it. This is what I want to ask you. So the rivalry between like clubs, so Collingwood, Carlton, West Coast Freo, they're scattered around the competition. Last week, heading into the showdown, Port v Adelaide, Ollie Wines said a couple of like things about the Adelaide Football Club being cocky and smug and all of those things, and it amplifies the game, makes the game more exciting. Keep the rivalry real, because like as what you were saying at the start, like it becomes this watered down thing where it's like, well, I work with these guys, like we have business opportunities together. We're friends because we used to play together or whatever. Yeah,
we have appearances together, like COVID brought us all together and since we all lived in the same place, like
so. But do you think there's still room to keep those rivalries alive?
There is. I think the rivalry lives within the fans more than anything because the fans make the rivalry with the hatred so real.
But is there an obligation with the players? Talk some shit.
Oh, no, there is. Don't get me wrong. Like we do look at that game probably differently than others because it is our rival. Like it is the history and everything else, and the play, like everything leading up to that game is like so big in the sense that like people talk about, like a successful season is beating Carlton.
Yeah.
Like, and that's crazy to think. Like, you'd lose every other game. People like Collingwood supporters, some of them would be happy as long as you beat Carlton. It's like, what the hell? Like, no, a successful season is winning a grand final. Like, what do you mean? And I think, like, probably over the years, like, from player perspective, maybe mine, because I'm very different in a sense I didn't grow up with AFL. I probably didn't have this, like, understand the arch rivals of Carlton, Collingwood. Now I do because I'm here. But I see kind of like this great hatred for each other and, like, this kind of, rivalry is a lot more for fans, I think. Like we kind of play into it because we obviously pump up the game to be a game because we treat every game as a game we want to win. But I think there's also like a little bit extra in those games because you want to make the fans proud. Yeah. And you want to like show them like, we're going to beat these people you hate so much and you support us through some of the good and the bad times and we're going to give back to you by smashing these pricks. Like, I think that's what players get, I think, the motivation to try to beat a rival from.
Yeah.
Because it's the energy in that place is different. I mean, there's 90,000 at the G. Like, you can obviously tell that, like, there's more in that game than just another average game.
And, I think you're right. Because, like, even going through, like, I think social media took it to another level as well off the field because you just talk so much trash, and it's one of them games that you don't want to, like, Collingwood is going to have that over Carlton for bare minimum the next time until they play.
Yeah.
So...
Well, it's because fans talk shit to like the other fan that's like, the other family member that's Carlton, and the mom's Collingwood and the dad's Carlton, and they'll talk smack to each other for a year until, maybe the tides turn at some point.
And one thing they won't be able to talk smack about is...
What's that?
Your goal kicking form.
Oh, dude, just knock on wood, Brayden. You know how I feel about this.
So you're probably absolutely tracking it, but saying that you're not tracking it. But I reckon you've probably
Fuel
kicked...
to the fire.
I think you've probably kicked 4 or 5 like goal kicking games in a row, which leaves you on a career total of 99 goals for your entire career, right?
Yep.
So going into finals, you kick 1 more goal, 100 goals for your career. It's a massive achievement.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I didn't even know until this whole Storm the G movement you told me about.
So that's what I want to bring up is Storm the G. Every time we post anything onto TikTok, every comment is one, does the GOAT reply? I don't know why that's always at the top.
Yeah.
And number 2 is hashtag Storm the G. Can't wait to storm the G for Coxie's 100th goal. It's pretty.
There's people saying it on the weekend.
It's going everywhere. So
it's a vibe. I actually don't mind it.
Yeah. So what do you feel about the movement? And does the coach know about it? Because I've heard.
Yes, that's interesting. So after the game, Craig came up to me and he goes, "Did you kick 100 goals today?" And I go, "1 off." And he goes, "Oh, I heard there's a possibility there might be a Storm the G movement." And I was like, "Craig, are you on social? Are you on TikTok?" And he's like, "Hey, I know things." And I was like, even the coach is aware. So there's a little bit of outside pressure. There's a little bit of outside pressure to kick 100 goals. Now,
you're one of those ghost profiles that's commenting on our TikToks.
His KD, like his Kevin Durant's, like, fake profile. I'm aware of it. I do know that there is a movement, quote unquote, in the social media sphere. You've told me about this. You brought it to light because I wasn't aware of these kind of things. But it's interesting because we've said on this podcast before, you can go to the previous catch-ups about what I would do if someone stormed the G.
Yes, and you said... you would pretty much smash anyone that comes near you.
I would murder someone that can. Yeah, like I would tackle them. Like I'm not going to stand there and watch someone run by me. If someone's running by me, like I would just spear them into the ground.
Equal rights, equal fights. Women,
you come in that boundary. You come across that line of the boundary. You're in my field. Like you're in the arena, baby, and it's going to be hell.
Yeah, which we got some good feedback at the time, but now that this is a real possibility.
Well, this is different because it's kind of celebrating, like, I guess, an accomplishment of mine. Therefore, I kind of feel like a dick literally tackling someone who's like trying to celebrate with me.
You said it.
And I feel like I shouldn't go back on my word. And I have to say this for legal reasons, probably. I'm not encouraging anyone to run on the MCG because you will get probably arrested and fined a heavy amount. But I will say this. If someone were to do it, and this is just a hypothetical, Brayden, I'd probably take a selfie with them if they had a camera out or something like that. Just have a bit of fun, whatever. Like, it also depends on the circumstance of the game and how serious the game is. If you're like,
and what jumper they're wearing. If a Geelong supporter comes out wearing his Geelong kit,
you're getting the right fist, right fist to the freaking jaw. I can't encourage these things, Brayden, but it is something I'm never going to do again. It is a once in a lifetime thing. So
until you get to 200.
Exactly. But 200 doesn't sound nearly as cool as 100. So, I'm not encouraging this. I'm just saying I'm Switzerland in the matter, and I am not going to say yes or no to either side of it.
So you're averaging over a goal a game.
Brayden, you can't say these things. This is jinxing me. You have to knock on wood. Can you knock on the table, please?
I'm just saying facts.
Okay, we'll move on to the next thing in footy. Now, there's a guy named Jason Quist who's out of Chicago who's been tweeting about what the AFL is. And this is the whole thing. We've been sprinkling a little bit of a tease about what we might be doing in this sphere. And I think we might come out hopefully in the next couple of weeks. But he's trying to learn what the game is. There's a bunch of stuff on Twitter. And I've told people in America that AFL makes no sense over there.
Yeah.
Like trying to explain this to someone else is like literally trying to explain the most ridiculous foreign sport you'll never hear of. And it's very, very hard. But the AFL jumped on board. And he's trying to understand a few things, from the center bounce and throwing the ball over your shoulder from an umpire. And it just is, it's funny to see Americans try to jump on because they have no clue, no idea what AFL is.
No. And they try to relate it to other sports that they've seen. And it's a sprinkling of everything. Like there's a bit of punting in there. There's a bit of basketball with the with the bounce in the middle, which
There's
is
no direct relation.
No, which is actually funny because he's put down an example of like the first center bounce, and it's you kicking pit net at a ruck bounce, at a center bounce. So
if he could bounce the ball straight, I would have been right under it.
Oh, that's pretty straight. So you've got form in kicking people. Are you going to keep doing that, or
I shouldn't have been standing there. Now the AFL did review it and they A-okayed it, so apparently it's all right.
Oh,
I mean, there's the free kick against it. Don't get me wrong; it's just not finable, I guess. So
that might be a new thing. If they make a rule based on something you did,
I mean, you got to think the standing in the mark rule is a Mason Cox rule.
That's pretty cool.
So I'm changing the AFL for the better or worse. I'm not really sure, but.
So going through a few of Jason's tweets, his very first one was, hey AFL, don't take this the wrong way, but Aussie rules football is one of the most incomprehensible games I've ever seen in my life, and I'm determined to figure it out with this Twitter thread. I just want you to know I'm doing my best.
That's essentially, please don't make fun of me. Please don't bury me.
So, but a good first game to watch. He's talking about kicking goals. He's talking about the umpire throwing the ball from a ball in, which is obviously confusing if you don't know what it is. Yep. He talked about AJ's banana double bender, as he's quoted here from the double boundary.
Bender. Okay.
And said that he severely under-celebrated it.
Really?
Just a little hands to the ears, turn it up, little high five. Yeah, he didn't really go ballistic. Yeah. But then all caps, oh my God, what a tremendous finish. So he's tuned in.
He's done the full thing. So it's like, I think this guy's probably 5 a.m. back home once this thing finishes. Because mom and dad watched it and I was like, they sent me a message. I think the clock was like 4:30 or something. But mom and dad, of course, they watched the game. They watched the post-game show. They watched the pre-game show on Sunday or on Monday morning, covering the whole weekend. Then he watched the St. Kilda game, I think, after my dad. Like, my dad does not sleep when it comes to game day.
I'm surprised he's not getting a phone line in to call up like SEN radio and.
Oh, he has. Yes, Nolan has too. My brother has too. Like he's done it. Like whenever I was in contract talks, I was like, I'll tell the story. SEN that calls up, and they're talking to Nolan because they won the national tournament, the USIFL Nationals.
And they know it's Nolan, right?
They know it's Nolan, yeah. And I was like, Nolan's talking to them about that, blah, blah, blah. And I was up for contract. So like they were sitting there and like no one really knew kind of where my contract was sitting. And I'm sitting next to my brother at a fire and he's literally on this phone and we're at this lake house and they're asking him all these questions about the USIFL and all that, and they're like, oh, is there any chance like Mason's around, like we want to ask him some questions about this? And I like kind of sternly told him like, I am not going to get involved in this. Yeah. And so I'm sitting there next to him and I can hear the phone. I can hear them saying that. And he's like, no, he's in the bathroom or something. Or he's like, he's in the other room. He's not here. Blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, we'd love to get on. He's like, yeah, no, I don't think so. Like they're sitting, I'm like sitting next to him. And I remember talking to like Whiteley or something like this. And he was just like, I told the story. And he's like, yeah, I had a feeling you're pretty close. Yeah. I was like, of course I'm not going to give you in.
I've never heard of the guy. Mason, we're not even related. So quickly, just before we wrap up, because we're running long, we said it was going to be
There's a lot in this. Benford really took up some time.
So projecting forward to the first final, playing Geelong. Last time you met, this is another Moz. I'm kind of like putting some bad stuff in your mind. But last time you versed them.
I didn't play, so.
You were really on top, though.
They pulled a Collingwood to us.
3/4 time, you're up by 30 points. That's a monster. And you kicked the Royal Collingwood. Yeah. Kicked 1 point in the last. They steamrolled home. Yeah. Ended up winning by about 10 points. How has the team grown? Well, one, you're in. But how do you think that you've grown since then? Completely different.
It is. There's a few guys that have come in and out of the squad since then. And it is going to be an interesting game. I think it'd be a great game, to be honest. And we get a home final, which is kind of funny, but we play at the MCG, even though we're playing Geelong and their number one spot. So
it's the benefits of being popular.
It's the benefits of being Collingwood, but I think it's a financial reason. I think Geelong plays it there because they want the money from MCC and everything else because they can only fit so renovated. Much. Yeah, they can only fit so many people in Geelong. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure, but
I think it'll change once their stands are finished.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not really sure, but there's a contract that they play every game at the MCG, so we kind of lucked out in that sense. Yeah. As far as the venue, but. Yeah, there's been a lot of people come in. Like, I think the biggest thing is like these young guys who we've brought into our team have played a full season now. Yeah. And they're kind of more confident and they have an idea kind of what AFL is and the standard that they have to play at and everything else. That I think our team's quite different in that first, that was maybe like rounds, like it was before round 10. Yeah, it was like 3 or 4. Yeah. And I look at that team and compare it to now the team that like can be able to close out games and everything else. And I feel like we're a very much more mature team in a sense that we've handled the situations of being, whether it be up or down at 3/4 time, being able to finish out a game. So I think in that sense, we're very different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like freaking hell, like Geelong's they've been the best all year.
Yeah.
Like by a long shot, I feel like.
Don't mind the underdog status, and I don't mind getting them first up. You got the double chance.
Yeah.
Get them first up and have just a crack at it. And then
to be the best, you got to beat the best.
Yeah, 100%. So you want to be versing them now rather than to get into the grand final. So I reckon it's good to have a crack now. And I think that'll play on their minds in two ways. That like I feel like Collingwood now, if you're 30 up at 3/4 time, you're a much better last quarter team now.
So, yeah, we were up quite a bit at halftime.
Yeah.
We blew the lead in the third quarter and they came back. So I don't know. You can never really count us out. And you can never really understand where we're at, I guess, from that standpoint we've learned throughout the year. But
the confidence there's action-built confidence now. You've done it, what?
There's a bit of a resume of confidence of us being able to win games. Like, I mean, the streak and everything else. But I mean, like Geelong won like 10 or 11 or 12 or was in a row. Or I don't know what they're at now. And
so that confidence, that action-built confidence wouldn't have been there in round 3. You're coming off a couple of wins, which would have been good. But like now you know you can perform in the last quarter and the results are there. So
and they've got, I mean, their team's got the career, I think, of some players that have played in big games, and they've got, you know, like that many games. Oh, if someone were to compare the games played compared to ours, I guarantee you they'd be almost double.
100%. Half their list is 40.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where I think they've got the experience. So it'd be an interesting kind of youth versus experience, I guess, like kind of game. Like we do have always some experienced people, but from a comparative standpoint of how many games played, I would say they've got us beat by a fair amount.
Yeah. I remember early career, you and Harry Taylor lining up. You tailed him up a few times.
No. Harry Taylor's a legend. He's actually a really nice fella. Don't say that.
I'm just saying facts.
Harry Taylor, I remember one experience I'll talk about Harry Taylor, right? He was playing defense on me. It was one of my first games. Actually, Geelong tried to get stuck into me once. I think I kicked 3 on him on the day. But Harry Taylor, in the boundary, you know, like siren, you know, starts the game, he's just, you know, he turns into that kind of hard-nosed person, right? But then, like, once the siren goes, he's actually one of the nicest humans you'll ever meet. And I remember Harry's done now, so he's not going to probably take offense to this, but I'd taken a mark on a lead, like kind of one-handed and stuff, and he was like diving and trying to punch it out of my hands. And I remember I kicked the goal, and I went back and lined up, and he was like, "Great mark, mate." And I was like, "Oh, you're a good dude." I was like, because some people are assholes, you know, F you, this, that, and blah, blah, blah. And he was just super calm. He was like, "Hey, great mark, man. All the best."
What a career. What a career Harry Taylor had too. So that's
a legend, absolute legend.
Pretty good respect getting it from Harry Taylor. So before we wrap things up, we love the fan questions. We love the community. And we got this one from Jaden Bear 09. It's a bit of a question of the week because I want to give it a bit of time. It's a bit of a hot topic.
Hot take.
But Dane Zorko, not sure on the specifics around what he said to Petty from Melbourne, but there was some comments made during the game that, you know, Petty reacted to. He was in tears during the 3/4 time break. He wants to know, what's your kind of read on the Zorko situation?
Yeah, it was interesting that live broadcast actually picked it up. I was kind of blown away that they actually picked up that he was actually in tears, because a lot of times you can probably hide it or something like that. But they picked it up. They made a thing of it like 3/4 time, and that was something that essentially people came out of the game asking questions about.
And I don't think it's a thing on the media, because it's like,
no, I was actually like kind of amazed that they picked it up, because you usually wouldn't know that thing. Like you wouldn't kind of see it.
Yeah.
And it was wild. Like I said, we don't know the details of what was said, but it probably comes back to, is there a line that you can't cross whenever it comes to talking smack on the field? Like, I remember I came to this country and I didn't quite understand, like, you go into the boundary, you know, like you play this game, like people talk trash and give each other shit and everything else, you know, and I've never had too bad of a sledge, I guess, but like sledging is part of AFL. And I think there's never been an understanding of a line that's been drawn of what's okay and appropriate and what's not.
Yeah.
And I assume, I don't know what was said, but I assume that line was crossed on the weekend.
Yeah.
The one thing I'll say is, looking back at the game, the cool thing about it, and not necessarily the cool thing, but the thing I was quite proud of was Max Gawn, Stephen May coming up and supporting him and like telling Zorko off after the game and saying like, man, that's not okay. And I think he as a player will like have to know that his brothers in arms and his teammates have his back like that, will bring that group even tighter now after that situation. And that's a credit to Max Gawn as a leader. Stephen May is one of the leaders in the back line, and everyone else that, you know, confronted Zorko and also consoled him on the other end of it. And there is definitely a line. And like I said, we don't know the details of what was said, but I assume it was definitely crossed by the way that reacted, because I know Max Gawn's a pretty smart guy and a guy that people respect. And the way he reacted would make me almost feel uncomfortable with probably what was said.
Yeah. And I think Melbourne handled it really well, like really professionally. Came out and addressed it after the game. Straight away, they addressed it on the field after the game and said, like, he said something towards his family and that it was addressed, and Melbourne went and notified Brisbane that it had happened. So, like, it was done officially. Like, there was
I was feeling back just going to get dragged out.
Yeah.
Because no one knows what was said. So then people are going to speculate.
Both teams going into finals and stuff, you kind of want to, as serious as it is, you want to investigate it, find out what happened and get through it. But yeah, I thought it was really professionally handled by Melbourne. I was a bit disappointed in Brisbane's reaction, to be honest, to be like,
it's a tough position to be in, saying your captain said something they shouldn't have. Like, it's
I feel
not
like
something you want to deal with. Like,
if
but
they
you have to come out and make a statement whenever something like that happens.
Yeah, it was just, Zorko's half-hearted, like, written apology that seemed like it was from someone else, like from my own opinion, and then Brisbane obviously just saying, we're getting around our boy. And it's like, well, people don't really want to hear that at the moment. Like, they don't really care about Dane Zorko's feelings, to be honest. Like, he's come out and said something from reports from the Herald Sun, and we won't go into them, but, like, he's come out and said something pretty disgusting. And it's like, of course they're going to support their boy because he's from Brisbane. But I just think, is there kind of like a player's code on this that you come out and kind of condemn it? Like, you can't just go like, oh, what happens on the field stays on the field, blah blah blah. Like,
it's a blurry line. It definitely is, because you don't. The thing is, you don't want to add fuel to the fire. I'm sure Petty wants to move on from this. He wants to focus on finals. He doesn't want to have to drag it up. And yet we're talking about a podcast because I think it's important. But I think it's one of those things. Like, there is a player's unwritten rule, I want to say, in this, and I think you'll know by the way teammates react to it and the person themselves. Like, I mean, we live in a society now that you have to be aware of what comes out of your mouth is public, and what comes out of your mouth can be, be taken in a different way depending on who you're talking to. And like, it's one of those things you have to be more aware of what you're saying in today. And like, I think probably 10, 15, 20 years, like, this would not even be a thing.
Would have been free game.
It would have been free game. And like nowadays with the way society is, like, you can't do these things. Like, it's just not appropriate. And the AFL's not going to stand for it. Like, and the teams aren't, and the players aren't either. So it is one of those things, like, times have changed and you got to change with them. So yeah, that's probably as much as I'll say on it. Like, it is kind of an interesting thing, because obviously you just kind of want to move on. But there is an unwritten player's code, I'd say. One
thing to lighten the mood before we finish up. So calling a opponent a bitch after you kick a goal, is that okay?
Again? Okay, yeah, I know. No, you know what? I'm not going to confirm that, because you cannot confirm that, Brayden. I did not say those words. I said big dog.
Yeah, okay.
I was like, get stuffed, big dog. Well, it looked like I said something else, but I didn't. Maybe I did. I don't know. Maybe you'll confirm it tonight. I mean, there's certain things, I think, in the moment of the game, you talk a bit of trash here and there. You can say someone's a shit kick and a terrible person, whatever it is. But I think there's certain things you just don't touch.
Don't mind it. And you got a Jack in the Box win on the weekend, I saw.
Did I? Yeah,
there was like a big Jack in the Box. Shanked it off the boot.
I said, hey, next time, mate.
Won the game. Difference between top four.
Just saying, Jack in the Box is getting us to the top four.
Jack in the Box.
Quoted from Mason Cox. We'll go to the last thing. Someone else wanted to ask about this. Alistair Clarkson. Going to Tassie. Sorry, going to North Melbourne. Tassie boy going to North Melbourne. I thought it was kind of ironic that the guy who's probably at the head of this push to move the team to Tasmania is now the head coach. I mean, if I'm a North Melbourne supporter, I'm glad I've got Alistair Clarkson on my side. Don't get me wrong. He's probably going to turn that team around. But also pretty worried that they're probably going to end up in Tasmania because this guy's going to keep pushing it with the board.
Hey, he on the couch last night, he said that there's no conflict of interest there. So he's still allowed to represent Team Tassie. So watch this space.
It's going to be very interesting. I'm assuming everyone else put that together, but I was just like, whenever I heard it, I was like, that was the first thing I thought of. I go, whoa, for all the talk that's been to North Melbourne to go to Tassie and then to put Alistair Clarkson as the coach, it's going to be an interesting few years coming up. We'll say that. But all the best to Alison Clarkson. Well done. Obviously, he was a well-renowned coach who's been chased after by many people, and it's cool to see him back in the AFL.
All the best to North. The only way is up, right?
Anyway, I'm not gonna just fuel that fire, Brayden. But that is the Mason Cox Show and the catch up. Thanks so much for listening in. I want to say the 7. We got TikTok, we got Twitter, we got Instagram, Facebook, Apple Music, Spotify, and YouTube. So follow us on all those. And we talked about some things in here. Comment on things so we can put in the next podcast. We'll give you a shout out and everything else. We want to get the community involved. We're all about the community and growing this thing. So check it out. Shout out to Matt Preston. We are almost at 1 million views on his thing that we did with the restaurant review.
Going viral.
That is wild. This podcast is going viral. He sent me a text message and said I couldn't believe it. And I seriously am flabbergasted myself. But shout out to everyone that's following us on TikTok and giving us views.
A lot of good reviews for Razor Ray.
Yeah, Razor Ray.
People are seeing him as human.
Yeah, I know. Crazy to say, isn't it?
Weird.
And a few people love the Narrow Lee too. So check out some of the previous episodes. There's some really good interviews. We've had some amazing people on. We're super grateful for it. And we're having some amazing people coming up too. So check it out. Check us out on 7 platforms. And that is it from us too. We'll catch you later on the next podcast. See ya.